Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Z Trigger podcast. My name is William Hill,
I'm Brandon Harris.
Jupiter.
Yep.
and we are doing the video game podcast for this week. And if you are watching us on YouTube as we record this, I'm playing a little bit of Mass Effect 3 to continue my attempt to get all these numerous side quests taken care of. How you guys doing this week?
Glad it's Friday night.
It's been a pretty easy week for me.
Man, both of you have said things that are not true for me. Because I still have to work the next 5 days. But that doesn't matter because right now we are talking about video games. And what video games are we talking about this week, gentlemen? What have you guys been playing?
I haven't actually played much this week. I've been trying to get an audiobook done. But what I have played has basically... I picked up Pokemon X again. And, hey, I got through all of the gyms now.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah, there's still quite a bit more to the game left, but I've gotten through all the gyms.
Cool.
After 3 years.
Well, better late than never.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's just because I pick up the game, set it down for 8 months, pick it up
Jesus.
again.
Hey, again, I let a game... I started a save file from a game I started 14 years ago, and I finished it this year. You're not doing too bad.
Which game was that again?
That was Star Ocean, the second story, specifically.
Ah.
I also finished a decade-old run of Xenogears this year as well. And a 4-year-old run of Xenosaga 2. I've been busy this year.
Xenosaga eating a lot.
I still need to go
Xenos-
back. I still need to pick up and play through the third one. But I'm playing a different science fiction trilogy right now, so maybe afterwards.
Cool.
What about you, Brandon? What have you been working on?
Let's see. I have played... Okay, you're going to have to correct me on the pronunciation of this Tales game, because I sure as hell don't know what it is.
Oh, which one is it?
It's not the one that starts with a Z. It's the one that starts with a B.
Oh, Berseria?
Berseria, okay. I played a lot of that this past weekend. I haven't touched it since then. I'll probably play more of that this weekend.
Nice.
I also... I picked up its related titles. This was Zestiria.
Zestiria, yeah.
I picked that up at Walmart because it's cheap. It's like $20 brand new now. So I was like, sure, why not? But I guess the one thing, the big thing, is the SNES Classic. I got that on Monday because GameStop's an asshole. You know, if I pre-order something months in advance, I should be able to get it day of. Even Amazon, without Prime, guarantees you day of release. If you pre-order it in advance, you know, far enough in advance, you get it day of. There's no excuse for GameStop to be an asshole other than to just be greedy assholes.
And they are definitely that.
So, got it, popped it in. Well, not popped it in. I set it up, and it's such a, you know, it's just little tiny SNES that just sits in the palm of your hand. It's so small. It's got this little cute factor going on because it looks like an SNES, and
it's crazy because the NES is the same way, and you see pictures and you see other people talking about how small it is, but then you get it, it's like it's just so little and tiny.
Yeah. And what I love is the power and the reset button work. You know, the one that actually powers on the system, and the other, you know, resets the game back to the menu. Thankfully, I've enjoyed it so far. I haven't played it a lot. I have played a little bit of Secret of Mana. I've booted up Metroid basically just to see how the controller that GameStop gave me with it functioned, and thankfully it actually functions really, really well. It actually, I was quite surprised.
That's astonishing.
That not only does it work really well, when you turn the system off, it turns the controller off too.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah, so it is really, really nice. I thoroughly enjoy the controller. Though, with that said, the controllers, I mean, they're legit Super Nintendo controllers. So, I have this, like, overwhelming desire to play with those. But until I can get an extension cable, that's not happening. The cable...
They have to be longer than the...
They are. They are.
Previous
they're
ones.
like double in length. But it doesn't matter. Most people, including me, the way their rooms or gaming is set up, they're still not sitting right on top of the television.
Yeah, it's not the early 90s anymore.
Yeah, which the length of the cable still basically requires you to sit on top of the television. It goes nowhere near as far as it needs to if you're going to go to the wired route. But does it change the fact I really want to use that controller? So as soon as I can get a hold of a long enough extension cable, I will be playing with that. Even though I like my wireless controller, I want to play with my legit Super Nintendo controller because that's awesome. That's probably like one of the best features is the fact that it's
they're great controllers.
Yeah.
The one because I have the NES one. I mean, I have the NES Classic, and I love the controllers it came with.
Yeah.
The controller it came with, and when I play, I have the option of that or my Wii Classic controller, and it's not even comparable.
Yeah.
So I can imagine how good the SNES one is. So you're coming up to the house next weekend. You're bringing that thing, right?
Maybe.
Dude, I don't know when I'll ever have one. I got to play some Star Fox 2. So have you played that?
God, no, of course not. I like I said, I barely I just played the 2 games. I'm not even like. I just wanted to see how well it worked, how well the controller worked. Thankfully, everything is good to go. Speaking of, you got one controller, I got 2. They gave me 2.
Well, yeah, the new ones have both controllers with it, rather than the one. Like, and I've never once seen licensed NES Classic controllers.
So what are you supposed to do then to get that second controller?
You buy an off-brand one.
Really?
Or you do what I did and you use the Wii Classic controller with it.
Lame.
Yeah, it is. It's not as good. I mean, it functions fine, but it's not as and I say this because the emulation is so good. And I'm serious when I say that emulation is stellar. At least the NES Classic is, and I'm sure that the SNES Classic is just as good. So
yeah, it's literally the same technology.
Yeah, it's impressive how good it is, considering how utterly shit the emulation on the Wii U Virtual Console was. Yeah, very impressive.
I guess that's like one of the things that still bothers me a little bit. It also came with a book, which I have yet to open. I haven't even opened the damn book yet. It still rubs me a little raw that I spent $160 on this when I should have only had to pay $80. Even the $80, I still am going to claim it's a little more than what I would ever want to pay for a glorified emulator.
It's basically a Raspberry Pi in a box.
Yeah, when you really get that, that's basically it's a fancy Raspberry Pi, because you can already take this damn thing. When the NES Classic came out, eventually, not too long after, people managed to crack the damn thing and were uploading their own games onto the memory, and it worked. You can already do that with this one because they literally use the same hardware.
It's not shocking. It isn't.
So it does bother me a little bit that it's an $80 for something essentially that one could make on their own for a hell of a lot less. Even if you buy the most expensive Raspberry Pi there is, it still wouldn't cost anywhere near as much. But I guess at least I have the Super Nintendo controllers. At least I have a way to play it on TV that doesn't require me to do any extra work besides just hooking the damn thing up. Which, that said, the games look fantastic. I know there's not any real adjustment with going to with HDMI stuff, but it still looks great on the TV. So yes, I look forward to replaying some of my favorites from the back in the day. I'm still a little annoyed that there's no young Merlin. Where's my fucking young Merlin?
Licensing's a bitch.
I don't know.
I'm sure some of those games cost
no
money.
idea who did that one.
I've never played it.
I owned it. Westwood Studios. That's right. It was Westwood Studios. It's one of their first damn games they developed for a home console.
Wow. See, I knew about Rock and Roll Racing and Blackthorn. I did not know about that one.
Yes, I remember that. Yes, it was Westwood Studios. It was published by Virgin Games. God, there's a name you don't see anymore.
Oh shit, that's not Westwood. Those aren't Westwood. That's Blizzard. Holy fuck, I got that wrong.
You don't see that name anymore because they're not Virgins anymore. I'll be here all week.
And you don't see Westwood anymore because they got raped.
Yeah, they did.
By EA.
Yep.
They got raped, and that's why the others aren't virgins anymore. Bad joke.
Oh, look. Speaking of being... Virgin also got sold to Electronic Arts. And that's why they no longer exist.
Serious?
Yeah. So that's why they no longer exist. So, yeah. So I've enjoyed my little gaming. The box that it came in was small. Everything was just small. I was like, how small is the 64 we're going to be? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if I'll buy that. I honestly don't think I would care enough. This one was pretty much a must just based on what my gaming was as a kid. I played the NES, but this is the one that I really caught my stride on. So this was the one I had to have.
Here's my qualm with them doing an N64 one. What the fuck will they put on it? What can they put on it?
Quest 64.
I'm sorry. What was that I just made with my mouth just now? No, I mean, in all seriousness, because like all the best N64 games were made by Rare.
Yeah, and Microsoft.
And that means that Microsoft owns the rights to all the games that people would really want.
But I think Nintendo can they can put out the Zelda games, but you already got that on the 3D. Those on the 3DS.
Yeah.
You got Donkey Kong 64,
which was made by Rare.
It was made by Rare, but they own the rights to the Donkey Kong character.
True, but they can't. But similarly, like, I don't know if they could do. I'm pretty sure they could release Donkey Kong 64, but like the only way people would really buy this damn thing is if they had GoldenEye and Perfect Dark.
I don't know. I'd buy it if it had Beetle Adventure Racing on it, but it won't.
Well, Nintendo published GoldenEye, so I think they'd be able to get away with it.
Well, you have other issues, though, like the rights to the original game GoldenEye. That's another problem.
I mean, and they could put out Mario Kart 64.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like they've reached a point where they're gonna see less interest because they're not gonna have the games on it this time, because N64 was not the big generation for Nintendo like the NES and the Super Nintendo were.
That's why I'm not sure they'll go past the SNES.
Yeah, I would be surprised if they do an N64. I would very much be interested to see what games they put on it. but I don't
Maybe
know
they'll
that
do
it
a
would be as big a deal.
conglomeration of Dreamcast and N64, put them all on one system.
That would be a completely different clusterfuck altogether. And Lord knows, Sega should never do something like that, just for the simple grounds that they can't even get their Genesis. Like, they licensed the Genesis out for one of these retro consoles, and they've done it numerous times, and they've never been good. Like, the emulation is garbage. They come packaged with
bad games.
Like 40 garbage minigame things. Yeah, it's not something that should happen, considering that otherwise, like, if it was just based on the quality of their games as they originally came with, it would be a different thing, because the Genesis has a good enough library to sell something like that, but it's just a piece of garbage.
I mean, you're talking about how the N64 could never be made into one of these. Even GameCube doesn't have enough games, really. For GameCube.
Honestly, I don't think that could even happen anyway.
No,
the sheer size would just be astronomical. I'm talking about like hard drive size and what
hard drive space. Yeah,
that it wouldn't function.
Since it was a disc-based system, yeah.
Right.
Even if the discs were tiny.
Well, what's funny is that you have a bunch of people who do want that to happen.
Yeah, Beetle Adventure Racing would not be on there, since it's probably not, because it's EA Sports.
Wait a minute, Beetle Adventure Racing came out from EA?
EA Sports and Paradigm Entertainment.
Huh. I had no idea they were even involved with that game.
Yep.
Not even in the slightest. That's kind of shocking. I thought that was something. I mean, because that is a revered title in a way, but at the same time, it's not something that everybody knows about.
Right.
That's your deep cut stuff right there. Oh man.
Yeah, it's funny. I look at the list of what they did that year. It's EA Sports, and it's like FIFA, NASCAR, Beetle Adventure Racing, Madden.
God, they ride their sports brand so hard. EA does.
Yeah.
And then they completely botch their the games that should be good. Like, so, and this is kind of funny, and this segues into my bit here. So I've been playing Mass Effect, obviously. I'm currently playing Mass Effect 3. I'm working through side quests. I have about 22 left, all in all.
Man, you've been going through those fast.
They're not that long once you're,
after the first one, they're a little shorter.
Hmm.
And the first one's not even that much longer. It's just that it doesn't flow quite the same as the other two do. And that's for better and worse. Like I talked about last week, how I really enjoy a lot of the game design of the first one, but I wish they'd included things from that one in the sequels that just got left out. So they're actually not that long games. I mean, it took me 36 hours to beat the first one and about 31 to beat the second one. And the only thing that really held me up on the first one was that I died a lot until I got about halfway through the game. And then it just, the difficulty just plummeted in the ground, and it wasn't hard at all for the rest of it. So, yeah, I'm a long ways into 3. I'm about halfway through the plot of 3, and I want to make sure I do everything so that I get a good ending.
I hear that in Mass Effect 3 there's a you can be in a relationship with the male captain.
The male captain. Who are you referring to?
I don't know.
Oh, you're talking about the shuttle pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
depending on your choices.
Well, yeah, you can if you're playing as male Shepard, you can totally get with him because he's gay, and I'll be honest, I I don't give anybody a lot of credit when it comes to writing gay characters in games because by and large they do it in a really stupid way most of the time. But it just popped up in conversation. It's like, yeah, my husband was on Earth when this happened. This is terrible. And it's like, oh, okay. Wow. EA didn't shove that down my throat.
Yeah. Nothing about watching old episodes of Will and Grace.
Right. So cheers, EA. Well, cheers, BioWare. You were a character in a way that wasn't stupid. So, yeah. But so I was going to say, so I was talking about games that, didn't attach at all, and we've been talking about EA killing studios. All right, so Mass Effect 3, so far, digging it. And Joe was looking around on Amazon Prime Now. Their same day delivery service.
Mm-hmm.
And she always looks through the video game section because, sometimes we've done some really good games on there for really cheap. And she sees Mass Effect Andromeda on there for $13. Keep in mind, this game came out a little over 6 months ago, and it's already about $12. So it was it's about $12 and change on Amazon Prime Now. But you can also get it. You can get it from Amazon itself with the deluxe edition, which is the $70 copy. They came with some extra DLC for $13. So she bought me a copy.
Yeah, why not?
Despite the fact, yeah, I mean, it can only be so bad. It can't be worse than paying $13 for it. It's not lightning returns.
It turns out that Amazon's just running a sale, like just a gigantic gaming sale at the moment. So there are a lot of games that are there are a lot of games that are discounted.
Okay, so it's not just a please buy these Mass Effect games.
No. Which I mean, they have decreased that one more than what more than the others. But yeah, it just so happens there's just a giant game sale going on.
Okay. It's still astonishing.
When I hear Mass Effect Andromeda, I think, oh, it should be based on Andromeda, the series with what's his?
No, Kevin Sorbo, no.
We've already had enough Kevin Sorbo in video games with the Conduit series. I'm probably
no one should watch Andromeda.
No, absolutely not. I feel like I'm one of 6 people who's ever, played the Conduit and remembers it fondly in any way, shape, or form. Not a great game, but a decent game, a fun game. A shallow fucking game at that, but hey.
Well, that's Kevin Sorbo for you.
Well, yeah. I mean, he just did voice acting. I mean, it's not all his fault.
It is.
It is his fault?
All his fault.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'll have to take your word on that because I didn't know that everything would be Kevin Sorbo's fault. I mean, but then again, he was Hercules, which this reminds me of the wonderful story that my buddy Jeremy, from whenever he worked in the theater business, he, hey, there we go. Actually, let's play where we are. Okay. So he was working in the theater, and he was in the box office one day, and Kevin Sorbo was, I guess, living in Raleigh at the time, and Kevin Sorbo came to his theater to go see a movie. And the kid who was working his box office looked at Kevin Sorbo and was like, "You're Hercules!"
Oh, God.
God.
and Kevin Sorbo, not missing a beat, "No, Kevin Sorbo, I just play Hercules on television." Oh, yeah. Tool. Oh, but yeah, apparently that was one of the funniest things that Jeremy has ever witnessed was one of the people he works with literally calling him Hercules to his face. I won't lie, I would have loved to have been in the room when that happened.
I think I probably would have left the room in embarrassment.
Right.
Even though I wasn't a part of this, you know, just such an embarrassing event that I would have to leave the room.
What a groan-worthy mistake. But no, as for Andromeda, I'm torn. Like I want to jump right in so I can keep up my Mass Effect streak. Like have beaten all 4 games in the span of like 3 months would be a fun thing to have done. But at the same time, I want to play some other shit too. Like somehow I've not gotten any like series fatigue from playing these back to back, but that's partially because I've treated it like one great big 5 disc game. And even in that, like it's not even like the longest RPG I've ever played, and it's 3 of them. So I don't know. I'm torn on whether or not I'll jump right in. The fact that I've heard from people that it's absolutely garbage, also makes me wonder whether or not I will. I think it was funny. Our buddy Sean, he commented whenever I said I got it. He says, considering what you told me about, what you liked about the first one, you might enjoy it more than I did, but no one should hate a game as much as I hated that one. So,
well, I mean, the thing is, it may not actually be as bad as what people claim, but after coming off the first 3, even with the ending of the third one as it is, it's like, what the fuck did you do to my series? Because it's not like it's been a really long time since the third one.
And also, you're supposed to improve your games when you make sequels.
That is true.
If only they thought the same way about movies.
And honestly, it also could be the fact that people have gotten tired of the Paragon Renegade system that they refuse.
Mediocre moral choice systems.
They will not expand upon that shit at all. And I have a feeling that people are just starting to get tired of it. Because one of the big complaints wasn't the gameplay, because that was improved. The combat, somehow or another, is actually better. It's the story and the writing that is so piss poor, and the animations. But you can get past that. But the writing,
I can get over bad graphics. I just played the first one, and man, the game has not aged well in terms of visuals.
So it's just, it really is just their brand, their current brand of storytelling. They're refusing to change, and it's just not holding up very well anymore.
It's a shame. I mean, because I'm not even object to the moral choice system thing, but yeah, it's not deep enough for it to be 10 years after the first Mass Effect, and it's still like baby strangling asshole or
I mean, you don't
space
even.
Jesus.
I don't even know why it's even there. It's not like it makes that big of a deal. Just let your actions affect the game, whether they be good or bad. Why do we need a gauge?
Well, I mean, and I think it works fine in the first one for giving you a gauge to tell you how well you're going to unlock your options for dialogue. And you need that in that narrative. But that narrative is done, and they're not. And from what I understand, Andromeda is not going to have anywhere similar to that kind of story where
not anymore.
War is coming and you're preparing for it. I mean, maybe they did have something, but yeah, now it's completely fucked by the fact that the game was just a complete disaster.
Yeah, now we don't know. I mean, I assume we're eventually going to get another Mass Effect. I just don't know if it's going to be part of the Andromeda stuff, which kind of sucks for everyone who has, especially the ones who put all their money in up front, and now there's a possibility that they will never get anything else involved with that series.
Right.
That would piss me off. So that's why I'm kind of glad I didn't pay as much. I only paid $30 for mine.
You get it for PC,
Yep.
or did you get it on PS4?
I haven't gotten it on. I think I might because it's so cheap. But yeah, I did get mine on PC.
I have the first one on PC, and whenever I finished the Xbox 360 version as part of the trilogy, I went in and I plugged that in as being beaten, so I could at least take one game off my backlog whenever I finished it. It sucks. I'm having to play this huge box set all at once so I can take one game off of my backlog. But no, I mean, it's a shame that we won't know what it was going to eventually be, but I don't know. Maybe it's not.
Who knows?
I haven't played it yet. I haven't even installed it on my Xbox because I'm going to have to clean off like 50 gigabytes of crap so I can install it. Damn. I have like 490 gigabytes taken up right now. Oh.
I don't have any of the Mass Effects on PC besides the one. Oh.
Yeah, I bought the first one at Radio Shack when they were going under all that time ago. Because I had just gotten that new computer, and I was like, I might lean on PC for gaming a bit. And then I didn't. I bought Fallout 3, I bought Mass Effect, and I got Hellgate London. A couple others I picked up around that time, but I don't remember what they were now.
Mass Effect gave you issues, didn't it? When you first tried, or was that Half-Life?
No, it was Fallout actually had problems with because it had games for live.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Like Windows Games for Live? Yeah, exactly. I didn't know that was a thing at the time, or what that really meant in terms of
PS4
being a complete
is what it meant.
What it really did was that I can't play it now because whenever I finished New Vegas last year, I tried to load it up and give it a try again, because I had it. Why not try and play it?
Limited installs, right?
Oh, it installs, but you can't play it because the goddamn thing is still tethered to Games for Live. I even patched it and it still doesn't work worth a shit. Such a disaster, everything. Oh. That was a thing. It was definitely a thing, and I don't even know what the fuck it was supposed to be. I mean, and I even tried to use it because I could get more achievements or whatever.
Achievement whore.
But well, I mean, if you're gonna have achievements, if you're gonna play a game that big, you might as well get the achievements for it. Which, by the way, my gamer score might actually surpass 20,000 by the time I finish Mass Effect Andromeda. Because I broke 19,000 playing Mass Effect 3 today.
I don't even know where mine left off.
Yeah, because you haven't really played anything Xbox since PS4 came out, have you?
Nope, sure haven't. Hell, even before then, I had slowly, gravitated toward my PS3, and that's where I spent most of my that generation, the last year or so gaming was on my PS3.
Which is interesting because when you first bought your PS3, you forced yourself to buy games for it.
Well, it's because there really wasn't anything, and honestly, toward the end, it started having the better games.
Yep. Last generation was so much more interesting, in a way.
It's like
this one's been weird.
Yeah, I mean, last generation was basically like a fighter and a wizard in D&D. The wizard starts out low, but eventually will surpass everybody, while the knight or the fighter starts out high and then crashes.
Becomes less useful.
Yeah. And that's basically what happened, is they crossed paths, and eventually PS3 just came out on top. And they just stayed on top because they didn't make dumbass decisions this time around.
Like packing in Kinect 2 and anchoring television to a game console.
That reminds me of when the PS3 first came out and how disappointed Brad was in it.
Well, dude,
Oh my God.
they were such
It was
assholes.
so horrible.
They were such assholes about everything. Even I don't know.
The next generation doesn't start until we say it does.
Yes, I don't know if Microsoft's been worse this time around, but Sony really did push the asshole envelope pretty hard.
And they had like no good games to speak of at launch. So
God, launch! I remember the launch game, the game that you could play in PlayStation 3s in demo units at stores was Motor Storm. I think.
Yeah.
And it sucked. And then the other game that they had was Resistance: Fall of Man, which we eventually played it, and it wasn't the worst game in the world. It wasn't very good either.
It was very grindy.
God, it was the king of grind and shooters. What a mess of a game. So yeah, like it's hard to say nice things about the early days of the PlayStation 3 because it was a PR nightmare.
Yeah.
In so many ways, like God, those stupid advertisements with the floating Rubik's Cube exploding and shit like that. I mean, God, what the hell were they thinking?
Well, I have to think, what were they thinking with the original PlayStation ads before it eventually
Honestly,
came out?
I don't really remember those.
Me either. I do not remember the PlayStation. You know what? I'm going to admit something.
Or maybe it was the PS2 one that were creepy.
I remember the PS3 being creepy.
PS3 I remember being creepy. PS2 I don't remember at all. I just remember the media blitz for the PS2 because I bought a lot of gaming magazines at the time.
Yeah.
And I mean I do sort of miss those days just because I enjoy the magazines as, you know, as interesting artifacts of gaming history. You can see all the games that were announced and never came out, for example. But yeah, the PlayStation 3 stuff I remember because the arrogance and the prevalence of the completely bonkers bad ideas that they were presenting as how they wanted their system to be presented, and it did not work out. It didn't really start shifting until they had those silly ads with what was the guy's name? And, oh my God, what was the goofy guy who made jokes about all the other gaming consoles and all that shit?
I have no idea.
I can't remember his name at all. But they were not very good ads because I thought they were just too abrasive. They were not professional. They were sort of like the old Crash Bandicoot ads, actually.
I remember those.
They stood outside of Microsoft headquarters, you know, Nintendo headquarters, and talked shit about Mario. Look who still got games that would crash, you dipshit. There's a brand that fell off. I doubt it'll ever come back, even though the collection sold fairly well. God, I feel old now, because
You should.
that was 22 fucking years ago.
Speaking of 20 years old, this isn't gaming related, but it's still something that's been around in technology for a while. AIM. America Online's Instant Messenger will be shutting down after 20 years.
Oh my lord, I know I saw that. Although I swear I saw this a couple years ago as well.
You know, I never got into using AOL Instant Messenger. I was always an MSN Messenger person.
Yeah, mostly I was an MSN, but I think I had a few people on AIM.
Yeah.
But it was nothing.
Shit, dude. What was the name of that program that combined AIM, MSN, and the other
Yahoo,
big...
wasn't it?
Yeah, Yahoo's the other one. What was the name of the thing that combined all three?
The hell if I can remember, but I do remember using a program that did that.
Yeah, because we were in high school and everybody fucking had different things that they were using.
Yes, and it was very helpful.
God, what was the name of that program though? I can't remember, but yeah, you got instant messaging used to be the shit, and now it's all Facebook.
Well, see, that's basically what killed it is Facebook.
Yeah, social media. and not the MySpace kind. God.
God, and to think MySpace still exists.
Mm-hmm.
But does it really exist? Does anybody fucking use it?
I don't know. That's a good damn question, but it's there.
Because no bands circulate MySpace pages anymore. At least not bands that I've seen.
Hell, they still
all
have.
use.
I'm sure hipster bands do.
They still have.
Please buy our
employees.
cassette release of our new album.
Time Warner owns them.
Mm-hmm.
On MySpace?
Yeah.
Man, I bet they feel foolish.
Yes, they do own your space.
I remember at one time Fox owned it.
They're like, get this piece of shit away from us. We want to cancel this like we did Firefly.
I was like, oh, I don't want to be. I don't want to be associated with Fox at all. I'm gonna stop using this now.
I mean, it's interesting, that it's over, but at the same time, I can't remember the last time I had AIM installed on a computer.
I can't remember the last time I even thought about it.
Yeah, everyone just uses Facebook Messenger now.
Mm.
Well, yeah, and with good reason, because
even though it's annoying.
Yeah, it's a piece of shit, but I mean, it's functional. For the most
Yeah,
part.
you can't even use it on the actual Facebook page if you're on mobile now. That sucks. You have to use the Messenger app.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's be fair. At least it's functional.
The only thing that I'm annoyed with the Facebook Messenger app is that sometimes I don't slow my phone down. It could just be my phone's, it's almost 2-3 years old, so it's time to kick the bucket. But it'll cause like when Brad messages me, and my phone was like, too many things going on, and
and then it has a stroke.
Yeah, and that's why I get so annoyed. Sometimes Brad's like, I want to have a conversation. I'm like, no, I can't do this on the phone because my phone takes forever to type. Like, I will type out a message, and it will take 10 seconds for the letters to start appearing.
Jesus.
Yeah, sometimes it gets really bad. But I think that's more my phone than the app. But, nowadays you really can't function. Hell, they even integrated text messaging into the Facebook Messenger application. You can have both of those in one place.
No, thank you.
Yeah, let's keep those separate. But at the same time, it's like it blows my mind how far behind I get in my knowledge of what people use to communicate, because
that's kind of bad, seeing how you do a podcast that requires,
Isn't it? But the thing I know about is YouTube. I know about the YouTube. You use the YouTube and you can do the streaming and you can make the videos and
on the internet.
Your shit. Yeah, on the internet, yes. You understand. But then I hear about Discord and I'm like, what the fuck is Discord?
What the hell is Discord?
I don't know what Discord is. I just know that people use it. What's something you knew?
It's something to do with free voice and text chat for gamers. You know what that is? That's nothing. That is literally something only for... Yes, it's literally something for you to use while you game on computer. So it
means jack shit to me.
Yeah, it means jack shit.
I mean, hell, I didn't know until like a month ago what the difference between Instagram and Snapchat was. Because I don't use either one.
Yeah, I don't use either one either. I know it would probably behoove me to use Instagram for some things, because Instagram is apparently a thing that people just follow shit for no reason on. But I don't know. I've never used it, and I don't plan to. Snapchat is just a thing I don't give a shit about.
So I'm sitting here reading this Discord thing. It's all-in-one voice and text chat for gamers. It's free, secure, and works on both your desktop and phone. Stop paying for TeamSpeak servers and hassling with Skype. What is hard about Skype?
I didn't know Skype was a hype. I didn't know Skype was a problem.
That's what
I've never had a problem with Skype.
I was like, what is hard about Skype? You literally add a person and hit the call button. What is so hard about that, you fucking dweebs?
Yeah, that's all we use. Shit, whenever we play games on the PS4, what do we use? Skype.
Because it's easier.
Yep, I don't have to deal with. I mean, because like while we're setting up, it's like, hey, I can't find you on the damn Battlefield or Battlefront server.
Which I will say that the PS4 does have a pretty good party system.
Yeah, they do. It's just a shame EA doesn't fucking deal with it worth a shit.
No, honestly, everybody has been shit with the whole party system. The last game I played that had a really good party system was the Call of Duty made by Treyarch. They have the best out of everybody. It's easy to get in and out of groups. The muting of all other assholes besides the ones in your party. All that, they did that. And every game not developed by them, even in the same series, doesn't do that. They're all a pain in the ass. And I don't understand why.
It's very simple. Because you want it to be better, therefore it will not be.
No shit.
But I still haven't played. Actually, I didn't even play the last Call of Duty Online. I didn't even have PlayStation Plus at the time, so I just played it for plot.
Honestly, I don't really have any desire. I know this is going to make me sound old or just not wanting to get with the current trend of shooters or whatever, but I don't fucking want to deal with the damn jetpacks. That's why I never played Titan. That's why I did play Titanfall, and I have no real interest because all they're doing is just jumping around. You know, the jumping is already retarded and annoying. I'm not saying not do it like some assholes online because they think they're superior because they don't do it. I'm just saying it's annoying because it is. So I've just never really had much desire to play. I haven't played any Call of Duty Online in a long time. Mostly because I don't have a group to play anymore. Because it's not fun to play by yourself.
Right. And largely I only play single player in those kinds of games anyway, which means that I am a malformed freak of some sort. I should really play more Battlefront Online. Maybe tomorrow night I'll play some when I get home. I haven't decided yet. I'm probably just going to play more of this. What's that? Me do that?
Yeah, you go do that.
If I do, I'll be calling. I'll be messaging you to join me. To play online at like 12:15 whenever I get home.
I'm okay at Call of Duty. I can't play fucking Battlefield. The flight stuff, like I can kill things. I don't know what I'm killing. I don't know if it's human or bot. And even if I did, it's a very disorganized chaos.
Right.
And I don't find and that's why I'm like, how can anybody be good at this? It's literally just shit's everywhere. You don't really know what you're shooting at. You're just shooting, hope you land and hit something.
There's no way to know where you are on the maps unless you're some sort of crazy psychotic genius.
So, hell, I feel the same way about the land stuff. I don't like that style. I do like my smaller maps. I don't want to sit there and search for your ass for an hour just for you to shoot me, for me to start this process all over again.
Well, I feel the same way. The maps are gargantuan for no reason. It's like, break those fuckers down a little bit.
And I still don't like the way the vehicles thing is. Should be a fucking power-up. It's not a power-up in your other series. Why the fuck's the power-up here?
It wasn't a power-up in the original games either. Then again, they treat the original Battlefront games like a poison of some sort. Which is so sad. Although you can now play them on GOG. You can actually buy Battlefront 2 or Battlefield, but yeah, Battlefront 2 and play it on GOG Galaxy.
I think I have those on Steam.
I don't. Yeah, I actually think I have that one on Steam as well. Does the online work?
I don't know, but the game itself works.
Well, yeah. I think you can.
I don't need to go. I don't need to go online to do those.
And that was back whenever they had like semi-decent single player, even if it was just the online multiplayer with some plot attached.
Hell, I just like the Galactic Conquest mode.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, that's a functional single player component.
Yeah, I love that. I don't understand why they took that away. To give us to give us that bullshit thing they gave us.
Yeah, I can't explain anything that they actually did with Battlefront 1. I'm hoping, I really do have interest in playing Battlefront 2 whenever it drops in price. Because, one, I think the story campaign
I'll wait for it to drop to $13 like Andromeda.
Maybe it'll take 6 months like this time.
I doubt it.
Oh yeah, the odds are not in its favor because the first one sold so fucking well. Oh man. So, in completely unrelated news, I saw something this week that I never thought I'd actually see, and that is that there will be an American release of one of the Ultimania books about Final Fantasy coming out.
I thought we were getting all of them.
We probably are, but the first one is it's not even the ones that I would be the most excited about. So I had to dig up some information on this because it's such a seemingly complicated subject.
Oh yeah, the first one they're releasing covers the first 6 games.
That's right, and it's not even. And so Ultimania books are, in some aspects, the strategy guide, the ultimate strategy guides that are released for the games in Japan that include artwork and interviews and behind the scenes information and stuff like that. So in that's the book we're getting. We're getting a book of the behind the scenes art book type stuff that is always the most interesting things about those books when they're released in Japan. We're finally getting that in the form of a book here, covering the first 6 games.
It went down in price again. Well, it went down in price. It's $23.99 now.
Oh wow!
On
When's
Amazon.
the release date? I don't remember.
June 5th of 2018.
So I've got some time to put the money together for that. I'm really looking forward to it though because I personally would love to know more about the making of the games in regards to the little secrets and stuff that always get thrown out in those books. Like it was in one of the Ultimania books when that Final Fantasy X and X-2 were revealed as tied to the storyline from 7 in a very tangential way, probably.
Yeah.
But there is a connection, and they revealed it in one of those books at the time. And so, I mean, I would like to see more of that stuff and actually get a chance to read all that myself. And the fact that it's also covers like a lot of the art and creation stuff is also really cool to read. But it would be cool if it was also the full strategy guides for 1 through 6, like those books came out with in Japan. Because I don't have a standalone strategy guide for any of for some of the old stuff like that. I have 4, and I have a copy of Anthology guide, so I've got 6 covered. But a better produced Final Fantasy VI guide would not be the worst thing in the world for my stupid ass interests in reading guides. Because I mean, I don't really think that kind of shit's interesting for some damn reason. Oh my lord! Unlike fighting people with swords in Mass Effect 3, that I kind of hate doing because they're a pain in the ass.
Why you fight them with a sword? Shoot them.
No, they've got a sword. I don't know why they have a sword. Fucking dipshit. Cerberus assholes. But I digress.
that was another aspect that I feel like just fell kind of flat with those games. That just ultimately nothing happened or ended with them. It's like you have the second game that involved them a lot, and then that's pretty much it. I don't completely remember the ending to the second one, but I don't remember getting a resolution with that group.
Cerberus, it didn't. You pissed off the elusive man, or at least I did.
Yeah, so do
That's
I.
why he must be dead now.
And then I don't remember anything happening. It could be I just don't remember because it's been so long, but I don't remember anything actually happening with that.
He's got a major hate boner for Shepard now.
Oh no!
And his like humans first mentality is part of the reason why we're having so much trouble preparing for the war with the Reapers, because he's trying to hoard all of this technology and all these resources that we're trying to put together.
Now I remember they do play a role. I remember it now.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I now remember all the endings from the game, and they still suck.
Well, I don't know that yet. I haven't played it, so let me get there. I gotta fight another fucking mech suit asshole. Which these guys aren't hard so much as they are a lot of bullets. And finding somewhere to get behind cover that they don't get to within seconds with their giant asshole missiles. Because I just killed him. Woohoo! Now there's a bunch of assholes I gotta shoot still.
You're an asshole.
Well, I mean, Shepard is kind of an asshole, but I like playing these games anyway. Jesus, the turrets fuck you up really bad. Oh well. I'm gonna beat these games, and I will then make my decision on whether or not the ending is garbage, or how garbage the ending is, because, you know, I have so many friends who hate the ending, and then one of my friends who I genuinely trust with a lot of his his opinions about things, which is Sean, he doesn't hate the ending that much. He says it's not anywhere near as bad as people make it out to be. So, it'll be interesting.
I mean,
because I'll be honest, there's a lot about the third game that I really do like how they executed the story and what they're doing with the final chapter and everything.
If you look at the whole game as an ending, yeah, it's not so bad. But the actual endings, they're literally the exact same. It's like there's a reason why people made comparisons between Human Revolution, Deus Ex, and Mass Effect 3, because they both did the exact same thing with the endings. They give you 3 choices, and all of them are nearly identical in how they play out.
Damn. I need to play. I have that now. I need to play it. I bought that for the Wii U, as a matter of fact.
It's like I beat Human Revolution. I need to play through Mankind Divided.
I have to buy Mankind Divided, which it's cheap now too, because it also didn't sell very well.
It's okay.
It plummeted in price very fast. It's an interesting trend, you know, this generation where you have these major or seemingly major AAA games that keep popping up and then they just disappear.
Well, that's because people like to fuck up their release. Square.
Yeah. That they do. Alright. I get to take another side quest off my list. And then I get to go turn in another one shortly after. I mean, in all honesty, this game is not long.
No, it's
and
really
the fact
not.
that I'm really focused on taking out all the side quests because I was worried that you had to play the multiplayer to get the good ending, so to speak.
I never played the multiplayer.
No one I know played the multiplayer, and they all were fine at the ending. But what's bad about that is, like, if I did play the multiplayer and I got my Galaxy Award readiness rating to 100%, I could literally, like, go to the end game and get a good ending now.
Mm-hmm.
If it was possible to go to the ending. So that tells you how many points that I have for my my war readiness. Let's look at that score for the people on YouTube here. Yeah, 2026 with the 50%. I'm at 4,053 otherwise. So yeah, put a lot of effort into this game. Into this trilogy.
Oh, terror.
By the time we do our next recording, I may have finished it.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll have a chance to play Monday and Tuesday. Not so much this weekend, but Monday and Tuesday I'll get a decent amount of chance to play. And then I will be wondering what to do with myself as I put Mass Effect Andromeda continuing this self-punishment by way of playing giant RPGs. Oh man. At least it's good. I do like it. It's what I wanted it to be right now. Do we have anything else we want to cover before we close up for the evening?
I don't think so. This was a very bare bones show.
In terms of news, we had a lot of discussion about stuff that had no bones at all. Though.
Nothing happened this week. It was just bleh.
It has been a very bleh week. No major publishers doing really dumb shit or anything like that. So
Well, I mean, they can't be doing that all the time. They gotta have some downtime.
yeah, they got to take a break every once in a while to jerk before they jerk off in our faces again.
It's like it was in the spring.
Yeah, it was a really quiet spring. It's just been a really quiet year for gaming, really.
That's because everything sucks.
Ah,
Yeah,
not everything sucks.
Okay,
a lot of things suck. A lot of things.
Yeah.
Suck.
Well, yes, a lot of things suck.
75% of things suck.
I would say 70% of things. I'm a little bit optimistic. A tiny bit optimistic.
I don't
Actually,
know. The 5% that constitutes the Switch, I haven't decided on yet. Ask me in 3 years.
Speaking of which, I need to get my golf game.
Oh god, Golf Story looks like it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I gotta get a hold of that sometime.
Yeah, you can get that instead of Mario, since you said you probably wouldn't get Mario.
Nah, I won't be getting Mario.
Actually, Brandon sent me a message a few days ago. It's like, and this is an exact quote, and I told him he should write a blog about that with this title.
Oh yeah.
And he said, I decided to cancel my Xbox One pre-order and buy Golf Story instead.
It does actually sound like a good headliner.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an amazing headliner for an article, and I'm mad that he won't do it because he thinks that people just think it's fanboy bullshit.
They would.
Okay, that may be true, but it's still an amazing headline.
I mean, I could still spin it to that I like gaming. I like buying things that I don't need, like an Xbox One. But I will still get more entertainment out of this little downloadable game on the Switch than I would that big ass huge black box.
Which will have next to no games on it unless you really
no
like
games.
Halo.
And I don't like Halo that much. Because Halo isn't as Halo-y as it used to be. If that makes any sense.
It does make sense. I haven't played Halo 4 yet, though.
I
Or
have.
5.
I've not played 5, but I played 4.
I want to play 4 and 5. I want to spend all 4 hours. I want to play Halo 5 so badly that I would set aside time in a day off to do it. And then I'd have time to watch a season of Daria afterwards.
Jesus.
Well, it's only like, what, 3 hours of
Well,
gameplay?
Halo 5? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's short game.
Because they focused on multiplayer?
Yeah, well, I mean, they have always done that, but they also used to put a game in there. Although they've gotten shorter, and it's really funny. One of my favorite co-op gaming stories whenever Brandon and I lived together was the night he bought Halo 3.
Yeah, we almost
because he bought the no. We gotta give people the whole context. So he bought the collector's edition that came in the Master Chief head.
Yeah.
Which is cool as shit because you can put all your games in it. It's really cool. And we were playing it, and it was like 11:30, and Brandon just like paused and he says, "I'm not beating this game tonight."
Not because we couldn't, because I didn't want to. I'm like, I didn't pay this amount of money to beat this game in one ass setting. We're waiting till the next day.
And then we beat it the next night, and it was good. It was really good. I really liked Halo 3. I've beaten Halo 3 at least 2 or 3 times. So clearly I liked it. I've beaten Halo 1 like 5 times though. And Halo 2 only twice because Halo 2 is kind of shit. I really wish it wasn't, but that's my feelings on that game. It's not very good. Although I do plan to play through it again if I ever buy the Master Chief Collection, but unlike Halo 5, it won't drop in price.
No, probably
You'd
not.
think they'd want to get rid of that damn thing, but they just won't. Blows my mind. Blows my mind. So anyway, is that it? Or Brandon, do you want to lament the fact that you still have a pre-order for the Xbox One?
I don't have one.
Oh, you canceled it?
I told you. I wasn't kidding. That wasn't a joke. I legit canceled that thing because I can get more entertainment out of buying some of these other games. That was not a joke. I was being dead serious. I canceled that motherfucker.
I was really not sure if you were kidding or not.
No, that thing's gone. Some random person in the world is going to get a surprise because they're going to go to GameStop one day and there's going to be a Scorpio edition sitting to be picked up.
Damn, you even pre-ordered the Scorpio edition.
Well, that was the only option at the point in time.
Gotcha. Do tell me what made you even pre-order it?
Because I knew that they don't charge up front for them. So I was like, I'll just put one in here and have it sitting there. If I want it, I already have it. If I don't want it, I can cancel it up until day of.
Right.
And that's what I did. I ended up canceling because I was like, it's just going to be a giant black box sitting on whatever I decide to put it on. I'm not going to get very much entertainment out of it because I already have a video. I don't really use discs for movies anymore, and if I did, I already have my PS4.
Right.
I'm not going
to. Well, I have my PS3 for that because that's the remote.
I'm not going to use the TV features. I'm not going to do a lot of things. So what's the point when I can get more entertainment out of Golf Story than I can this $500 monstrosity? Which I also said that I am sitting beside a beast that can already do what it does and more. So there's literally just that I've just never seen a console that's already so outdated in its usefulness as that one. At least
it does not help at all that Microsoft has positioned itself to release all of its exclusives on the PC as well.
Yeah, there's another thing that the ability to do that. Yeah, I have to go through Windows, but I can get over that. At least Sony has games on it too. I mean, yeah, one of them is going to PC, but it doesn't matter. I still already have it on my console. It came out first on the console, and there's other games that are just on console that they have that Microsoft will never have. Because Atlas and others like them know there's no point.
Yeah, because why release anything Japanese for the Xbox to that?
Yeah, because the Japanese don't buy that.
Because they're smart. Sometimes.
Well, I can't explain why the Xbox 360 did not sell in Japan better than it did. Because it had games that appealed to the Japanese market. They courted the right developers that generation. It just did not click. And there were some excellent JRPGs on the Xbox 360 that first couple of years that were not on the PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
Last generation, like I said, last generation was a much more interesting race. And maybe in retrospect, this generation will be more interesting, looking back on it. If for nothing else than Nintendo fucking up so madly with the Wii U not working out like they were trying to make it work. And then they had to release the damn Switch to fulfill the promise of that system. But as of right now, because the way Microsoft has completely screwed the pooch on this generation, I don't see it being as interesting in retrospect. Because it's not very interesting right now. And that's sad. I mean, we're sitting around and there's a console launch, essentially a console launch coming up in the span of a month from now. And no one gives a fuck.
I don't.
There's no hype for this thing.
Oh, there is among the people who are already going to buy it in the first place.
I can't care about the launch of the Scorpio, Xbox One X, whatever you want to call it, for the sake of stupid shit. Maybe that just says there's something wrong with me and my understanding of what gaming is about, blah blah blah, or shit, whatever. But I just can't do it, as I've said so many times on the show here. But anyway, does anybody want to add anything before we wrap up?
No.
All right. Well, thank you all for coming in and listening to our show this week, and we hope you will join us next time here on the Z Trigger Podcast. As usual, you can find us on our usual social media channels on Facebook and Twitter at Z Trigger Live, or on YouTube, which is also Z Trigger. And I think that is it. Thank you again, and we will see you next time here on the Z Trigger Podcast.
Laters.
He's seeing you.